What up, world? What up, media? This is Drewize. Coming out like this, Drewize Topics. Good evening, YouTube. Okay, this topic is not prejudice or racist or have hatred towards the Caucasian white man, white people. No. This topic is so true if you look at it, because I see it this way and I notice it. Topic is the younger generation is fearless, and the younger generation do not fear the white man. No. Okay. Now you got people, these young people, younger than me, coming out of high school or in high school. You got some of these children at the age of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and stuff like that. Younger than me. These young people, I notice very, very clear, and I understand and I see, that these younger children, this younger generation is fearless, real fearless, They going getting guns and stuff like that. If they have beef with someone, they shoot that person down and don't think nothing of it. Go to bed at their mother's house, wake up in the morning, go to school, act like nothing happened. They fearless, but they using that fearless in the wrong direction, in the wrong direction. They even shooting down the OGs. These YGs coming up is shooting down the OGs. For real. They fearless. They're so fearless. Now, Minister Louis Farrakhan, he talked about it. He talked about how the youth today is fearless, is strong and stuff like that. Is not afraid to die or nothing like that. Some of the elders are afraid to die and afraid and fearful and things like that. But not these children coming up. No. These children younger than me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm 28 years old. Eventually am approaching 30. These kids, these children is fearless today. So fearless. They don't give a damn. And these children and these young people, younger than me, they're not listening to the pastors that be up in the church and things like that, talking like that. They're like, I'm not listening to all this stuff this man talking about, preaching. They don't want to hear that foolishness at all. You might come to them and say, you need, young man, young woman, you need Jesus in your life. And they can reply and say, you need Jesus in your life. Get the hell away from me. Yeah, they will say that, These children, these younger people, younger than me, like I said, is fearless and not afraid to die. And some of them get at the age of 22 and say, or 23 and say, I can't believe I lived this long. I can't believe it. I was expected to die at the age of 18. That's what they be saying, It's hard. That's what they say. It's hard out here. We gotta, we gotta prove this and that. You know what I'm saying? But they're using their fearlessness in the wrong direction. In a very wrong direction. Now, the young generation, do not fear the white man. No. They do not fear the white man. Like some of these elders do, still attached to this man to this modern day Pharaoh, still got some type of attachment and want to be close like a Negro slave or something. Fearful, These young kids today is not afraid of the white man. No, you know what these young people doing? They like, let a white man cross me wrong. Let a white man cross me wrong. Call me a boy. Call me a nigga. I'm going upside his head. I might put some heat in his chest. That's what these young people saying. You know what I'm saying? For real. Now me, I look like this. White man call me a boy or something, call me a nigga, cross me wrong, I may let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Not putting no bullets in his chest. No, I'm going to let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Now back in them days, when that, the 40s and 50s and 60s and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? True enough, they treat us wrong. You know what I'm saying? Very wrong. And we would not even dare try to raise our hand to them or talk smart. You know what I'm saying? That ain't gonna fly. We get hung up a tree or whatever. But nowadays, that's out the window. You know what I'm saying? We like, you may have done that back then, them times. You gotta look at the ground every time you walk by, you and your wife gotta look at the ground and things like that. But you cross us wrong, we gonna let you know something. You know what I'm saying? We gonna let you know we don't fear you, we're not afraid of you, and we're not afraid to die. For real. I'm a young man, like I said, I'm a young man. I'm 28 years old. There are younger people, younger than me, like in their early 20s, late teens and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And coming up in this life so fearless, yo. So fearless. Very fearless. And that's why Minister Louis Farrakhan said, this generation is strong. This generation is the best, because some of our grandparents, our great-grandparents, was scared and things like that, scared, fearful, afraid to die. Me personally, I'm not afraid to die. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to die. I don't fear death, for real. And that's why the younger youth look at me as one of their own, mistake me as one of their own because I look younger, like 24 or 23 or something, but I am 28, so yeah. So I was gonna tell these young dudes one day while I was in the mall, in Chapel Hill Mall, Akron, Ohio. These young dudes about to kick off something with the police, and I'm going by, about to leave the mall. These young dudes running their mouth, like I said, they fearless. They are so fearless now, you know what I'm saying? But they're using the fearless in the wrong direction, not thinking, I was getting ready to tell these young dudes, I was like, hey, y'all cool it, you know what I'm saying? Because this white man, he got the nature to destroy, and he's going to use his weapon to shoot one of y'all down, I was getting ready to tell him that, but something told me, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing, I just kept on going, Now, thank goodness that nothing popped off, you know what I'm saying? Have another incident all over the news. White police officer shot, black this, black that, for real. But today's world, this generation, these children coming out of high school, is fearless. It's so fearless. Warriors. But they're using that fearless emotion in the wrong direction. And you need to use that and put knowledge on that, Yeah. So, I have a son. And he's going on 12 years old. I will give him advice, It's up to him to take it or leave it, you know what I'm saying? For real. Because he is a black child, he is a black young man, you know what I'm saying? So he's going to have to face obstacles and a challenge and a difficulty being a black young man in this white man's world. Come on. I can only give him advice. That's it. Not going to lecture him, not going to preach to him, just give him advice. You know, say this, this, and that. It's up to him to take it or leave it, you know. And that's how you fathers need to come at your sons that way, your black sons that way. Give them advice and tell them and warn them. You know, hey, look here, Junior. Now, you need to think now. You need to think. Because you as a young black man, me and you both is living amongst this modern day Pharaoh. Use your head. You know, use your head. And you could be fearless now. You could be fearless. But use your head. You know, when you see your fellow peers, your fellow friends acting a certain way like that, don't be part of that. You know what I'm saying? Don't be part of that. You know? But see, you got to tell your sons this. You have to tell your sons this. You know, it's up to them to take it or leave it. Even your daughters, you got to tell them. You know, as black young women, you have to tell them. You know, for real. So that's how I look at it. You know, this generation is fearless. You know, it's coming up so fearless, and we're cold. You know what I'm saying? We're cold-hearted. You know, now we beating the elders over the head. You know, we taking their money, we taking their cars. We're fearless. You know, we fearless, yo. And this generation do not fear the white man at all. Go ask one of these young dudes today. Go ask them. Hey, do you fear the white man and what he's gonna do to you and to your people? They gonna say, hell no, I don't fear that this and that. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? That's what they gonna say. That is what they gonna say. Hell no to the T. I don't fear the white man. Come on. Even though the government, you know what I'm saying, and somewhere government in high places, they are plotting to destroy people of color, starting with us. You know what I'm saying? It's already happening. Judgment Day is touched down this land. Judgment Day, we tasting Judgment Day. You know what I'm saying? This is a modern day Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? For real. So it's time for us black people, young black men and women, to wake up like we once was woken up in the 60s. You know? For real. Come on. This generation is fearless. This generation do not whatsoever, not by an ounce, do not fear the white man. Go ask them yourself, and I bet you they give you an answer. You know what I'm saying? I bet you. And I bet you they saying, we ain't listening to no pastors, we ain't listening to no reverends, we ain't listening to no deacons, we ain't listening. You know what I'm saying? We ain't listening to all that. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. You know, go ahead with that. Trust me, they will say that. You know what I'm saying? Because if they did not say that, these young people would be in the church right now rather than all these elderly women and all these women that's in the church. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Come on. Better ask somebody. Ask somebody and see I'm lying. Drewize Topics. I am Drewize. You can post a comment about what I just said if you like to. You know what I'm saying? If you like to. You know? You are entitled to your opinion just like I'm entitled to mine. You know? Like, share, subscribe. I am Drewize. This is Drewize Topics. Peace.